plant some seeds that are gonna help you as your career goes forward and as you continue doing business with these people. Building relationships that are going to lead to higher margins. You could stay in your office all day being busy. The choice is yours. You get to pick your heart. I'm gonna stand up for this one because it's gonna be a good one. So I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and when the subject comes up about planning events or doing things with customers, it's so strange because the number one objection that I get is, "Oh man, that sounds like it's gonna be a lot of work." Okay, yes, it is a lot of work. And guess what? All the work that you do is a lot of work. No matter what you're doing in business, you're gonna work hard, or theoretically you are if you wanna get ahead and do well. So this idea of, oh my goodness, I don't wanna do this thing because it sounds like a lot of work, it's kind of bullshit. You actually have a lot more power than you think. You actually get to pick the work that is hard, okay? What do I mean by that? You could stay in your office all day being busy, and there's a reason that BS is in busy. It doesn't really move the needle. But you can leave at the end of your day feeling exhausted because all you did was work on stuff, whatever that means. Or you could spend that time going out, seeing your customers, hanging out with people, and actually building relationships that are going to lead to higher margins, relationships that are going to lead to opportunities that you never had before, relationships that are going to lead to protecting your bottom line when things go wrong. Now, in order to illustrate this, I'm going to tell a story. All right, it's story time, because I think we've had enough of the anecdotal, like, oh yeah, hang out with your customers because it's good, right? So I'm gonna talk to you and I'm gonna tell you a story now. And in the next few episodes, I'm gonna tell you more stories about why and how hanging out with customers turned into money in my pocket in one way or another. Because honestly, it always does. So let's kick this off. We used to throw a fishing trip in Idaho, and oh my gosh, let me tell you what, the coolest trip ever. Fly clients in, it was a 4-day trip. We would fish for 3 of those days. It was amazing, okay? We had private cabins, we had private fishing guides, all the gear, everything's included, all the meals are included. It's just top-notch trip. And for all you sales managers out there, just a real quick plug, this is why it's important to support and back your team doing team trips, right? Because it wasn't just me on this trip. There were probably 3 or 4 other sales people on the trip, and then each one of us brought 3 clients. So it was a pretty big group, but it was nice because it was a way that our company really got to kind of pound our chest and show appreciation and have an extremely high level trip for people that were essentially director level, VP level, owner level, and up. So it was really important to be able to do this trip. It was extremely nice, right? So I invited 3 really good customers of mine, all at different levels in their businesses, but people that were going somewhere. And so this trip kicks off. We go on the trip, have a great time. Everybody loves it. They have a blast, and it's the last night, okay? I'm gonna start with this story because it's the greatest. It's the last night that we're there, and the guy that I'm with, we're gonna call him Jake just for the sake of anonymity. I'm there with Jake, and he goes, "Hey man, I gotta use the bathroom." I go, okay, let's go. I'll show you where it's at. It's in Don's house. And Don was the CEO of our commercial division at the time. And he's, nah, man, I don't want to pee in the big guy's house. No way. There's got to be because there's got to be another bathroom somewhere here that I can use. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So I was under the understanding, because we had a really big group, that our CEO's cabin that was there also had other cabins down the street. And I was under the impression that our group as a whole had rented out these cabins, at least the majority of them, next to Don's place. So in my mind, why not take him next door? So I take him next door, and as we're going next door, we go around the back because the front door's locked, obviously, right? And there's beer bottles, and there's cigarettes, and there's shot glasses. It looks like a house where customers have been partying. Okay, that all checks out. That's the nature of the trip. You go a little hard in the evening. So I don't think anything of it. Open the sliding glass door in the back. It's not locked, obviously, because everyone is next door at the party. Why would they leave every door locked? So I walk in with Jake. He follows me in, and we make our way through the house, and we're laughing and telling jokes, and we find the bathroom. And so I go in first, and I'm standing there, going to the bathroom, looking down, minding my own business, and I notice out of the corner of my eye that there is a curling iron on the sink. And the first thing that runs through my mind is, oh my gosh, there's a curling iron in here. I cannot believe that we invited a customer on this trip who cares so much about their hair that they actually use a curling iron on it, right? This was like an all guys trip. So here I am thinking, oh boy, can't wait to tell everybody about this and just start razzing some people. I get done, I leave the bathroom. Jake goes into the bathroom. He starts doing his business. Luckily, everyone's just peeing, nothing more than that. So he's using the restroom, and then all of a sudden, I hear, what the hell are you doing in my home? And those are not words that one typically wants to hear when they are in a foreign home. And so I look to my right, and I see a woman standing in the hallway in a nightgown and a nightcap with what appeared to be some kind of black lab Rottweiler mix, an enormous dog standing at her side, growling at me in a very I'm going to bite you to death sort of way. And I look at her and I go, pardon me, ma'am. I didn't realize that this was your home. And she uses a couple expletives and proceeds to tell me that it is her house, and then also to interrogate me as to what I am doing in her house. And so I start apologizing profusely. Hey, sorry, it was a misunderstanding. We were at the group next door. We thought that this house was rented out for the weekend. I'm so sorry, we're not supposed to be here. Meanwhile, in the middle of this, Jake comes out of the bathroom and sees me engaged in this conversation with this woman. She proceeds to lose it even more, right? Starts cursing, starts swearing, starts screaming at us. And the front door was maybe 5 or 6 feet away. I proceed to just say, hey, listen, I'm really sorry that this happened. Giant misunderstanding. And we're just gonna excuse ourselves and let bygones be bygones. So I make a beeline for the front door. Jake follows me out the front door, and we escape from our doom. Mind you, this was in Idaho, okay? So thank God it was the wife of the couple that was living there, because had it been the husband, I would probably be dead and you wouldn't be hearing about this story. You would have heard it on like national news that some guy killed a home intruder. Yeah, because it was that kind of situation. It was very tense, it was very wild, and I can look back on it now and laugh, but it could have been really horrible. So anyway, me and Jake, Jake and I, we make our way back to the group, and we continue partying, and we continue having dinner, and we continue having a good time, and I completely forget about it. I figured I said that I was sorry. We kind of skedaddled pretty quickly, and what's done is done, water under the bridge, no harm, no foul. So about a week goes by, and I get this scathing email from my boss at the time. It goes out to all the sales guys that were on that trip, and it says, hey, Don is really pissed right now. And I'm not going to talk about it in this email, but whichever one of you did that thing that you weren't supposed to do, you need to come and see me right now, and you got to talk about it. And we got to fess up on this, and we got to apologize. And so at first I didn't even remember, right? At first it was like, I have no idea. And then it clicked, it dawned on me, oh my gosh, this is like the pee incident with the neighbor. So apparently, a day or two after that incident happened, the husband of that home came over and got in a screaming match with my CEO based on what had transpired. Now, obviously, no names were given. All they had to go off of was, hey, 2 guys were in my house. My wife was there. What's the matter with you? And this guy and Don didn't like each other to begin with. So this just kind of put fuel on the fire of their diminishing relationship. So it was bad, right? And then Don didn't know who to talk to, and he was pissed off that nobody kind of brought it up in the moment, like when it happened, understandably. So I remember this and, crap. Okay, we got to go talk about this. And so I walk down the hall and I go to my boss's office and I sit down and I'm like, hey man, that email that you just sent, that's crazy. Do you mind me asking, like, what the heck happened? He goes, apparently a sales guy or 2 sales guy or a sales guy and a customer, there were 2 guys there. They went next door and they peed in Don's neighbor's house. And it's just turned into this just giant shitstorm. I go, man, like, why would anybody do that? And he goes, I don't know. Like, these trips are supposed to be fun and salespeople are supposed to be on their best behavior. And I don't know what's wrong with my team. And I looked at him and I said, hey man, I know. I have no idea what came over me and why I took that customer over to pee in that house. And he just stopped. He froze. And he looked at me, cocked his head, and it was just this giant WTF look on his face. And I was like, hey, let me explain, right? So I sat down and we talked it over, and by the end of it, we were both kind of chuckling about it, even though it was a serious situation. So he said, hey, I'll handle it, I'll deal with it, I'll talk to Don. And so that was the end of the story, right? So I peed in a stranger's home with my customer, unbeknownst to us, and quite possibly could have died in the process had things gone a different direction. So me and that customer still talk about this to this day. We fondly relive this memory, we fondly relive the trip, but that moment of the trip is anchored in our memories, right? Because we had an adventure together, right? We got in trouble together. We did something crazy together, right? It wasn't that crazy, but it really could have been. Anyway, there were 2 relationship pieces in this though. There was a relationship win and there was a relationship loss, okay? The relationship win was with me and my customer. I built something with him. I built a memory. I built a bond. I built an experience with him, unbeknownst to me, that's going to last our entire career, right? We will always be able to anchor us in that moment. And it drew us very close, and we've remained very close since. He is now a VP at his company, all right? So he has a lot of decision-making power, and he has a lot of ability to make my life indirectly very miserable if he wanted, or make my life easier. And I've been lucky enough to be able to partner with him and come to him with problems, with things that I'm going through, and actually work through stuff and not get crucified. The amount of money that I have saved because of my relationship with him when problems do arise I can't even put into words. It's probably several $100,000 that has been saved just because we have rapport. At the same time, he's given me work. He's specifically given me projects over the years. That probably results in over $1 million worth of work right there from this one guy, just because of our relationship. So that was a big win, and it continues to be a win, and I continue to love, we'll call him once again, Jake. It's not his real name, but love the guy, love hanging out with the guy, and excited to continue working with him. The relationship loss, though, was how I didn't show up for my CEO. I don't know if I just wasn't thinking about it. I don't know if it was a place of arrogance or a place of ignorance or a place of shame, right? Shame, embarrassment, some combination of everything. I should have, maybe not that night, because it would have kind of ruined the evening, but I should have at least the next day, I should have told my boss, I should have told my CEO, and at the very least, I should have let my boss deliver the message, and then I should have followed up with an apology, which I never did. And the interesting thing here is he's since gone from the company. He no longer works for the company. He's retired. So it didn't have huge impact on my career per se, but had he been younger and had he been in the company, in it for the long haul while my career was going on there, it could have had some seriously detrimental effects on our relationship. And apologizing, coming clean, that's all part of doing the right thing. And Dawn, in many regards, was just as much of a customer of mine as my client that I took on this trip. Because Dawn could thumbs up or thumbs down promotions. Dawn could thumbs up or thumbs down lateral moves. Dawn could ask that I never got invited back on that trip ever again, right? There's a lot of fallout that could have happened if he hadn't have retired so soon thereafter. So the point being in all of this is by having an experience, not only did I make a relationship deeper and stronger and much more profitable on the business side of things, but I also had an opportunity to do that internally, and I didn't, right? This could have been a win in both directions had I handled it better. Lesson learned, right? All of this goes to say this was work. This was hard work, right? Showing up and doing an event with a customer, with multiple customers, right? I didn't just have one customer, I had 3 customers with me, right? We got into some shenanigans with the other guys, that's a story for another time. But I had 3 people that I was entertaining for 4 days. That's exhausting. That is a ton of work. You have to be on constantly. You have to have a customer service mindset 24/7. You have to be there for them no matter what, making sure that this trip that they're on is the absolute best experience that you could possibly provide. I'd say I checked a lot of those boxes. But when I got home from that trip, I wanted to sleep for 2 days, right? It was exhausting. It was hard work. But I will take that hard work over sitting in the office, grinding out emails, and doing mundane BS any day of the week. The choice is yours. You get to pick your heart. Do you want it to be boring, monotonous, and hard? Or do you want it to be fun and exciting and also have the ability not only to create some incredible stories, some incredible memories, and incredible relationships, but also plant some seeds that are gonna help you as your career goes forward and as you continue doing business with these people? Let me know what you think. If you wanna talk about any of this, if you wanna discuss trips that you've been on or trips that you're thinking of going on with your clients, or ways to connect with your clients locally that are lower risk than going on a 4-day trip with clients, let's talk. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, what your experiences have been, because this is the kind of stuff that gets me going. This is the kind of secret sauce, if you will, that exists in sales that everyone should be using. It makes the job rewarding, it makes the job more fun, and honestly, it makes it so that as you go forward, the work might still be difficult, but the people you're doing it with matter more to you and are more connected with you. And so it makes it that much easier. If you want to have that kind of similar experience, let me know. Let's talk. Find me at nathanmark.com. We'll talk soon. Take it easy. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.